right, welcome to the OKD documentation subgroup meeting for August 9th of the year 2022. And I think we're going to change the name of this, but we haven't really decided on an official name, have we? So maybe that can be an agenda item. Take a quick look at the agenda as it's written now, and let me know if there's anything you want to add, or go ahead and put it in. We'll take about maybe 20 seconds to do that if there's anything that's missing. Oh yeah, I see. OKD Docs to 411. That's a good one. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and get started in terms of technical documentation. I have the two sort of standing items as we haven't gotten an update from the CERN folks or Glenn Marcy on their blog posts. Brian, what else do you have in terms of technical documentation?
Okay, so we're going to get onto it, but I've started putting everything on the board. I'm in the progress of revamping the guide section. I'm I've got it in a fork, so nothing's public yet. But basically, I'm moving some stuff to blogs. I'm retiring some stuff. I'm at the minute trolling through YouTube to find some current-ish videos to also put there. So the idea is we'll have some guides there, but I'm creating a home lab section, and we're going to put links to YouTube videos, blogs, people's websites, just to give people a resource list of what people have done on home labs. So if you have a site that you want to include, just ping at me, or when we talk about how we're going to do the board, the idea is I'll put a pull request in, and then people can then comment on that pull request, and then we'll agree to accept it. So other than that, again, coming up in the next item, we've got the getting started page. So I think I'm going to leave it there until we get to the what's on the board section, because there's a few things in there about documentation, potential new topics and stuff.
Diane, looked like you had something.
Yeah, this is I gave up on finding the hand raising thing. So I started, and I didn't get very far on the what is OKD section. So I'm still committed to doing a draft of that. I put it in my GitHub repo. And basically what I did was just fork the what is Kubernetes and using the structure of that. Is that still something you're still on board with, Brian, in terms of getting that ready?
Yes, and that means that I can actually assign a task to you on the board.
I'm doing. I really want that because I get it's a question I get asked all the time. And what is OKD and why OKD? Kind of those two questions. So I want to try and distill that down. There's also I don't know what the other outstanding thing. I'm not sure if it's on it. I'm having a little bit of a low Wi-Fi day at my own home in Canada here, and I can't see the HackMD file quite yet. But there was also the thing about the banner that you wanted that Brandon was going to work on. Did he said he was going to propose something this past Monday. Did he get back to you at all?
I haven't seen anything. He sent me a message saying he was looking into it, but I haven't heard anything back yet. Okay.
Yeah. So he's game. He just was trying to figure out the logistics of how to do it, and I told him to reach out to you when he had some feedback or a proposal.
Okay.
So you might put him on your dashboard too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In actual fact, it's already on the board. Did I assign it to you?
And he has a GitHub ID. I'll dig it up and give it to you so you can add him if you have
Yes,
GitHub.
I haven't assigned it to anybody yet. So yes, but it's on the board.
Let me find out. Right.
So are we ready to start just putting stuff on the board? And if so, is it going to be like one or two of us that manage the board, or folks should just stick stuff up, or what are you thinking?
I like Brian.
Oh, okay. Okay, so one of the things on the board is define the community process.
Right.
For how we use the board. But the board's there. I was just going to walk us through it and how I'm doing it at the minute. I use the standard template that's in the GitHub project. So what I can do is, can you see that?
Yes, we can.
So this is the board. The link is in the HackMD meeting, but it's just github.com. If you go to the Okd project, and then if you pick the projects, so if you just go to the projects, you actually get it. There's only one there, OKD planning. So that's how you get to the board. You can add an item very quickly just by saying test item. So that will add an item in draft, and then the idea is that when we're ready to work on it, we convert it to an issue in the planning repo, and then that'll turn there, and then we just drag it across. When you double click on it, you'll then open the item in the planning, and then we just sort of add the description, and we can then tag it. I added a couple of fields. So we can say what project area is it in. We can change this list and what priority. We can add labels. We can add assignees. So it's all there. It's all working. And as you can say, I populated it with a few things. Some things that are definitely going. So that's a single node. So I was going to ask, do we have an email it was just contacting them and just saying, if they have any research, dump it in. The issue, if they don't have time, we'll find somebody else. We do have a help wanted sticker that we can put on and ask somebody else to actually pick it up and run with it. So that's the Brandon latest news section. That is the guide stuff that I'm currently working on. So things that are ready to do from the last meeting. Almiko was going to have a crack at doing his videos, and then this is in actual fact, we can you assign that.
So can you? I have a question.
Yep.
I'm in the page now, and Luminous Coder is his name, and I was just trying to figure out how to assign the latest news page to him, and
if he hasn't been into the project, then you can't. It's only people that have actually been in the project you can assign. Okay. So we need to get him to come into the project.
Okay, so if I wanted to add latest news section to myself, I'm in. How do
you just go to so if you're having internet, you might not be able to see my screen.
Mm-hmm. I'm going back to
so if you click the title, it opens up within the planning thing. And on the right-hand side, you've got an assignees. You just click there and you can add it to you.
I see. There we go.
And to move it across, you just drag a tile and just move it. So I can say that you're in progress because you said you're doing that one.
Yeah, I'm assigning it to myself for now. There.
So, I mean, the plan is that this meeting should effectively drive this. And instead of using the task things within the HackMD, whenever anything comes out of any meeting, we just go in, add a new item into the new, and then we can refine the issue and then move it into backlog. Means that it's something that we're not ready for anyone to do yet. So it's like the icebox, I'm guessing. Ready is we're looking for somebody to do it. In progress, someone's actually assigned and working on it. When they finish, they should move it into review, create a pull request, and then this meeting should then be responsible for reviewing it either I suggest offline, then we can discuss it in the meeting. Certain things I think we should just publish. So if someone's responsible for something, so for Jamie, when you do your meetings, I don't expect meeting notices to come through a review, pull request review, if you're actually publishing meetings. So some things like that, we'll just sort of tick through. But anything that we want to discuss or, we've got two of them now, Diane.
Oh, so where is the other one?
Directly above it, planning number 5.
That's the getting started. I wanted to draft a sub one.
Oh, okay. What is
OKD?
Yep.
That's what I'm working. So
okay.
I'll figure out a structure for the getting started page, propose that, but I also want to draft section of what is OKD and let that float out there. So it's thinking about it.
Okay. No, brilliant. So yeah, I mean, so again, the define and document community process, is it this group? Do we want to give people authority? At some point, I think we need to sort of start locking down some of the Git repos, so only certain people can accept things on the main branch. Just all of these sort of things that a community probably should do, just to stop people hijacking and doing things like that. Are you talking, Michael? If so, you're on mute. Oh, okay.
This is great work.
Yeah. I think this is really good. I think Brian, I would like you to remain the lead on the planning process. If you don't mind doing that, especially because we put so much on Jamie already, and I part of the is figuring out how using this current process to enroll more people to be tasked on task, including myself. So I think adding things to this board should be something that's, because I just randomly went in and added something just because I was trying to figure out how the board worked. But I think that is something that needs to be gatekeeped in this session, in this current meeting, in the docs meeting or the communication meeting, so that people can put it, like I just put one in draft mode. But I think, Brian, maybe I would like to see a process where you had the authority to make it actually something, to turn it on, to official thing that we're working on, and people can propose stuff. And I'm looking at the columns again here, but that's kind of how I would like it. There's a backlog, and yeah, so new things. But I would like to see it, some process in which this committee here, this group here, gatekeeps what gets moved into progress, or make sure that things get assigned projects.
Yeah, it would be reasonable to have something that is open, so you can encourage people to come in and throw in ideas of what they would like. And then this group could decide which of those are reasonable enough to do that we move it to the backlog.
Yeah.
And that could be gate kept. But I think it wouldn't hurt to have something to encourage people that this is an open place that they can come and participate without getting
Ryan, does it have that
backlogged.
level of resolution?
That's what I'm just
Oh,
looking
sorry,
up at
Bruce,
the
I didn't
minute.
mean to cut you off.
I'm just Googling to see if we have that capability within projects. I think it does. It has the idea of permissions. I don't know the granularity of it though. I'll investigate that and just see what we can do.
All right. So put an item on the board to do that.
Well, I'm actually going to convert this one. Yeah.
All right. Well, while Brian is sort of typing and navigating, do folks have any other thoughts, feedback on this board and the processes of using it?
I might make Brian do a one-on-one with me so that I can figure out how you get it to be planning number 5 and the different tags on it, but I'm sure it's just, we could do that offline. Practice.
It's very easy. Just click one and say convert to an issue, select the planning repo, and then it goes into the green circle.
Get that. Yeah, my goal is to use this to get me to get stuff done. So the other things that need to get done are like moving OKD project and getting the DNS and all of that set up. Because I still haven't been able to track down the right people at Red Hat to do that for us.
I was just thinking we can probably move the OKD OpenShift one because that has no other external dependencies. So we just need somebody. I don't know whether Vadim or Christian has permissions in the OpenShift org. They can probably do that themselves. It's the okd.io that has the hooks into the website and that needs the coordination.
Yep.
Well, do we want to move forward then with the former and just at least get that over?
Yeah.
Does that sound like a plan?
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's ask Christian and Vadim. They probably do have more privileges than I'll ever be given, probably for good reason.
Okay, so that's the board, and I guess alongside that was, where do we want to change this working group name to reflect that this is really the community and we're sort of managing the gatekeeping of the community activity?
OKD community governance. I don't know.
Or just community working group?
About
working group.
Something like community development.
Okay.
I think because that's actually my official title is Director of Community Development, and I've been trying to get more people to use that and think of it more like on the side of business development and product development kind of thing. So as community.
Nice.
I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Can we have a little bit of a straw poll vote here so we can see what Bruce and Michael think? So I'm for that. So OKD community development. Okay.
But the mission won't change.
Mission won't change.
Just the
and
name.
that covers outreach, documentation, recruitment of engineering resources, all kinds of things. I think it's a good umbrella.
Global domination. Nothing short of it.
Yeah. Well, it also means you get to do everything.
Operators.
All right. So moving on to the next thing, it sounds like we've got a little bit of work to do. So an item would be to reach out to Vadim and Christian. Who's going to reach out to Vadim and Christian about moving the repo? Brian, do you want to do it, or I can do it, or Diane, you can do it? Who would like to reach out to them and
I
coordinate
think
that?
I would like to suggest, not that I'm putting everything on Brian, but I would like to suggest that Brian does it because you can articulate exactly what you want clearly.
There you go.
We won't filter it.
Excellent. All right. And that brings us then to OKD Docs 4.11. So,
Yeah.
Michael, do you want to go ahead and let us know where the product docs are in terms of that? Like
Product
what the
docs
processes
are
and timeline?
Yeah, I believe everything is set to GA tomorrow.
Okay.
So the
Yep.
OCP docs will be up tomorrow, and I'll add that to the OKDdocs.io.
Excellent. And how far back do we go now on that pull down? Where did we land on that for the docs pull down? I forget where we.
It goes back to 4.6 and then it goes to
Makes
3.11 to 3.6.
Okay. Are we ready to pull 3?
I would love to. I think that's a question we should ask in the main meeting, just
Okay.
in case there are people still attending. Where is John Fortin is on for something, right? So
Yeah, he's on 4 something. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I don't know. And the only other people would be Neil Gampa and Shri from Dato, who I'm thinking might still be in 3 land. I'm not sure. I don't know whether they got. I don't know. I'll have to in production.
Well, we'll ask in the main meeting. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we need to do for 4.11 docs and general promotion? We now have the Twitter. So as soon as the docs are generated from Michael, we can put something on the Twitter that says OKD 4.11 docs are available. And
do we have
Christian wanted us to wait though until the next release. Remember, because he said that there was a CPU usage
issue.
Yeah, I thought that was resolved in the past. Oh, okay?
But we haven't done it a release.
The bug is still present in our release.
Right,
Yes.
That's true. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving 4.11. We've got dark mode at last.
All right. Is there anything else we need to do for 4.11?
I think then the ask is just to make sure that we go through and any new features that don't apply, that we just catch in the docs.
Yeah.
So any new operators, any new things that are add-ons rather than in core that will appear in the OCP docs. I think they automatically come into OKD. Is that right, Michael? That if they've added new features into OCP, they'll automatically hit OKD unless we explicitly remove them.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so we probably need to go through and just do a check.
What we might do is create a process where someone volunteers for a section, and we just comb through them. You know what I mean? Like each chapter or book, as they're called, just have someone volunteer that particular one or whatever, and that way we can get like a team of folks to do it pretty quickly and not have to rely on one person or wait for it to be crowdsourced in the bigger picture. It'd be nice to get ahead of the ball. So.
And I'm hoping we don't lose the overt section again.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's it. Obviously, we've been 4.11's been available since the 29th of July on OKD. So it'd be nice to actually get the docs because we did get that question at the last meeting from somebody, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, they are available in the latest.
Oh yeah, that's true. At latest would pull you to it, right?
I was going to ask about that because it doesn't actually, nowhere does it say on there that, is it the latest as in what's in the list as in 410, or is it the latest as in 411? Because it's not clear when you look at the documentation what you're looking at.
I'm not sure what it actually says, but it's 411 for all intents.
Oh, that's great then. Okay.
It's
I
the
didn't
current
realize
state
that.
of our main branch. Right now,
Well,
it's
if that's the
411.
case, then we might as well add 411 to the list.
Yeah, I suppose.
If it's already available from the latest one. Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. Not sure how that works.
All right,
Okay.
and then we'll talk at the main meeting about polling the threes, because at this point, who knows, maybe OpenShift 5 is going to be coming, and then really far away.
Don't be talking about that yet.
All right. And I still have a plan to script out a video that's sort of an introduction to the community. Once I get some time, I'll be able to do that. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. John does seem to be re-engaged, so what I think we should do is keep an eye on what John is doing and see what else can be turned into documentation based on sort of
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a lot of work he's done if he's got Prow working with the the other thing that I, again, just going into the new column on the board, one for you, Diane. Do we need to review things like copyright and license for all repos in the OKD project? Is there a standard that we should adopt based on what other community projects do? Is it Apache? Do we have a standard one?
We should still be using what's in the OpenShift repo for license and copyright.
Okay, it's just as new projects are being created. I mean, we've got the operator stuff coming in there, the core OS. We just need to make sure that we document a standard that if anybody creates a repo in Okd project,
there should be
this is the licensing and this is.
Yeah, there should be a boilerplate. So it's not a review; it's just a boilerplate. So if someone boots up a new one, it should have a readme.md. It should have and the licensing. But they all should be the same license as the OpenShift repo and as OKD has on it now. I don't know if you can automate that with GitHub so that anytime someone creates a new repo, it magically populates it with that.
You can create a template, a GitHub template.
Yeah.
I was gonna either see if I can persuade Christian, or if not, I'll do it. I think we should write up the roadmap that we presented in Dublin and Ireland as a blog, just so we've got it on the site, because
I think that's great.
Unless you find those Open Commons videos, we actually don't have anywhere where we talk about the roadmap. We talk about it in meetings, but there's nowhere that we can actually point someone to say, this is our 6-month or quarterly roadmap.
I'll tell you, if you put it in as a task in your project and assign it to me and put the link in for the video, which should be available now, and assign it to me and label it help wanted as well. I will get the transcript generated and find the slides and link it in. And then that is a really good first issue, whatever label for someone to clean up and turn into a blog post. And if not, I'll do it. Because I need that also as something to follow on in the what is OKD structure with the getting started page. So
and then I think at some point we need a way of defining like a diary or a calendar to say we should do the roadmap update every 6 months or every 3 months. We want to update or just review certain things like the guides every 6 months. We want to do things like that. Just find a way of doing regular things.
So if we could do it at least twice a year, prior to whatever KubeCon is coming. It would be I'm not sure whether that helps with product cadence or anything else, but those are the two junctures where it becomes pretty important to have an updated roadmap presentation. Which
So
also,
what I'd want to do is let's bring this to the main meeting because the engineering folks might have an opinion about how, I mean, it including that, but maybe they have something more, right? So I'll do that and add that.
yeah.
Um,
The other thing that I didn't put it in the HackMD, which brings me to the roadmap talk again, is I have space at KubeCon in Detroit that we can use for a face-to-face meeting on October 25th. So I think I mentioned that at the last main meeting, and I'll mention it again next week. But I would like to maybe try and do a face-to-face meeting if people are coming to Detroit. And I don't know what your schedule looks like, Jamie, Brian, Michael, Bruce, if you're planning on going to Detroit, because it's such a wonderful town. But it's in America, close to some of you.
so I grew up about 5 minutes from Detroit in what they call the Downriver area. So yeah, I'm hip to it and I will be there. Yes.
So can I put you on stage at the Commons as well on the 25th? I
Absolutely.
would love to do that because I want to present the whatever OKD SCOS, FCOS conversation is at that point. We should have something to deliver and talk about. And they do say, I heard on the call this past week that the MVP should be demoable around DevConf US for that CentOS dojo that's coming up. So
Excellent.
it's coming soon, which then brings us to the hackathon, the deployment and testing hackathon dates, which I'll bring up at next week's meeting too to see if people have a preference for when that is, and maybe even a link to something people can start fiddling with next week.
All right. Do we have anything else that folks want to touch on? Michael, yeah.
Yeah, can I go back to the copyright and legal issue that was talking about earlier? You do have a legal notice page in the OCP docs. I put a link in the chat. Do we want that? Should that be in the OKD docs, or is that
Let me
separate?
Let me take a look. Let's see if I can click on that. Here we go.
I don't think I've ever looked at it before, so I don't know what's in there.
I hadn't looked at it either. Yeah.
Probably. I think it's a good idea.
It's not in the OKD one.
It is not.
Yeah. I think it. Yeah, I would say yes.
Because it makes references to those things throughout the documentation, so we should. I mean, it's not the commercial product, but it uses those words and references those things, just like OCP does. So it makes sense to have it in there, I think.
Now, would this task go on the board?
Yes.
Yes.
You're on the board, Michael.
I'm on the board.
Interest. I mean, if anybody wants to go and put it on the board to practice, go for it.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Interesting.
Hey, all right.
Modified versions must remove all Red Hat trademarks. Are we a modified version?
No. I'll ask on this side too, just to make sure.
Okay, that'd be great. All righty. Anything else that folks have?
I mean, the only other thing that's on my list is at some point we do want to create a community event around operators. There is a lot of work going on within Red Hat, and I keep looking at all the posts that are going into the GitHub repos and things. And one of the things that was asked from the operator SDK is, what is our process for engagement? Now we've got the project board, we've got one, because they wanted to actually start creating issues and tracking that way. So I'm going to go and pick that one up. But if you're happy, I'll just run with that until we've got something that we're ready to work into a schedule in a day to actually try and aim at. I think it's probably going to be September before we get to it.
Probably, and I personally, my thought is let's get this process nailed down a little bit, our overall governance process, because the operator event and related engagement with the community we want all of this stuff, I think, to be squared away and efficient and nice and welcoming and easy to navigate, so that we're not sort of fumbling around with this stuff and getting to know it in our process while trying to introduce community people to participation and stuff like that. So at least September, if not, maybe, a little bit later would be my thought.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine. Brian, have you given any thought as to where we host an operator catalog? You've talked about setting one up.
Key.io.
And
Key.io. I think the source code should be in R. And yes, it is pronounced key, Diane, in English. But yeah, I mean, key.io or quay.io for these But actually, if you go to an American dictionary and ask how do you pronounce that word, it'll say K-I with an accent. So it's key.
I know. Yeah.
What's the origin of the word?
It's British.
It's from French. It's from French words. So the French word for platform is key, Q-U-A-I.
Ah, interesting.
And William the Conqueror brought it to England in 1066, Battle of Hastings and all that stuff, because the nobility spoke French. So that's where it come into the English language from back in the 11th century. And then the English vowel shifts have changed the sound. So it's key, even though it's A-Y. So that's the, as far as I can tell, the origin of the word. I grew up, we had a fish key and a quayside. So I've always used the word key because we've always had that. And Boston Key, if you go and look at old maps, was spelled Q-U-A-Y. I believe now they've spelt it to K-E-Y. But if you look at old maps of Boston, it was Q-U-A-Y.
So Bruce, it's Lonsdale Quay or Lonsdale Key in your mind, the location in Vancouver? Key.
There's also a New Westminster Key.
Okay, there you go. I don't know. It is British Columbia.
I didn't recall how they spelled it, though. I was going to look that up.
I think Michael and I are having a hard time with that.
Quay.
Anyway, however it's spelled, I think we want the source code to be in OKD project in GitHub, and we want the container to be in the new Quay project that Christian set up, which is OKD. So key.io/OKD organization, and it should be in there. And at some point, I think it would be nice if we could change the OKD installer to enable it by default, but I think that's a phase 2 stage. Initially, we'll just get it created and we'll have manual instructions how to add the OLM source. And then eventually it'd be nice if we could put that into the installer.
So I was added to the Quay project. Brian, you were. Diane,
I was, yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Bruce, did you get it added to it? Do you know about? So there is a quay.io/OKD that got created by Christian like last month.
Okay.
If you're not, does anyone have any?
I haven't looked at that one.
Okay.
I think it's still
if you have access.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce should have access, I feel.
Yes, you should.
Because Bruce is doing work. So if you don't have access, Bruce, let us know.
Let's see. So I do have access, and under my login, but I guess I wouldn't know until I try and do something.
Yeah.
go
Okay.
build
Well,
tools.
that's
I mean,
just let us know if
I
you.
can see the repositories.
Okay, perfect.
Let's
You
see.
probably have the same access we do, which is what we'd want. So.
I mean, I think the interesting thing is we've got to chat with Christian. Is it going to be a Tecton pipeline that builds everything, or are we going to try and link it into the Prow system and get it to be built automatically? So I think that's an outstanding conversation. I think they're looking at Tecton initially.
I think they are looking at Tecton because if you notice, they're doing a lot of work with Tecton right now on actually the OKD CentOS rebuild. And they're doing really good stuff. Like they're quickly putting that together, that pipeline. So, and if we have any input on it, I would want it to be Tecton personally. So.
Snap.
Yeah, same here. As a matter of fact, although I was I went in to try and build Prow, and all of the instructions assume that you're AWS or GCP. And so I then went on and waded through some of the, I don't know, shell scripts or makefiles or whatever they were, and they were like 3,000 lines long. And at that point I said, okay, well, it's not worth it, and backed off. So
right.
I'm following Fortin with amazement on that one.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we got?
I have one question for Michael Burke. Oh, did he pop off? Oh, he's still there. Sorry. You mentioned this this link earlier, that learn more about OpenShift HTML and that. What would it take to just pull that and put it into the OKD Docs? I'd have to do a bit of a rewrite on that. But can we add that getting started in the welcome?
The OKD
into OKD Docs.
Docs.io.
Yeah.
Yeah. Piece of cake.
Piece of cake.
Mm-hmm.
So let me take a look at that before I start down any path rewriting all of this stuff. But that between that and what's in the Kubernetes.io docs, I think we have all the content we need. We just have to shape it. So I'll reach out to you on that one.
Okay.
Too, because I think that might be an easy win to pull that and just edit it and change OCP to OKD and make some tweaks. I need to read the docs.
Sounds good.
You guys are doing good work.
We try.
This is great stuff. All right. Anything else before we go? All right. This has been great. So our next meeting, and I will start. I will go around and start retitling meeting resources and whatnot so that we are the community development meeting, the OKD community development meeting. And that'll be much easier. And I will actually go and I'll even go and rename the videos as they are, just for consistency's sake, the ones that are the subgroup meetings. And I think instead of calling this a subgroup, we'll just call it just the OKD community development meeting. Because it's going to be a different set of people, I think, as well. So, at least to some extent. I do want to check in because we are going to, we're into August, and so we're going to be heading into fall. Does anyone have concerns about the timing of this meeting? Since we will be sort of a different group, and I do want to check in regularly with folks to see if this still works. Is this still going to work for folks moving into the fall?
Yeah, no, I schedule my classes around this meeting, so
wow.
The Institute has been doing that happily. It doesn't hurt that I know the timetablers, but.
Very good. Okay, thank you, folks, for an awesome meeting. Thank you for all of your hard work, and I will see you all probably next week at the main meeting.
Good luck to you.
Good luck. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.